And we just heard from Vice President J.D. Vance in Switzerland before these talks commence. And he rather had a more tame tone in comparison to the president's latest post on Truth Social. And also in the past few minutes, Fox News is reporting, attributing to an interview that the president did with them on this channel, essentially saying you close the Strait of Hormuz and you won't have a country, threatening that the United States may even take over the Strait of Hormuz, and also the continuous threat of taking over the country as well, which again, in contrast to the vice president's tone, tells us something that, Leah, he is speaking to his base. He is speaking with the voters who voted for him, but also on Fox News, he's speaking with the voters who will vote in the upcoming midterm elections. And if I compare that with the rhetorics of the president of Iran, who spoke earlier today, he too is speaking with that domestic hardline base. And that's how I read into what the president of the United States has said, and also that of Iran. All the while, these historic talks seem to be going as planned.
Yes, and we heard from J.D. Vance there, didn't we? He says he hopes to make progress on the nuclear issue and on the Lebanon ceasefire issue. Two red lines that have been big talking points during this time, Tara.
Indeed. In that few brief moments that he spoke, J.D. Vance there, along with the Pakistani and Qatari counterparts just about an hour ago, he somewhat alluded to the issue of Iran's nuclear file and also the Strait of Hormuz somewhat being resolved, and that these talks would be the start of the technical discussions that we were expected to see in the 60 days that were to come after the signing of this 14-point MOU. But that is in stark contrast with what the Iranians are saying. Interestingly enough, we did not hear from the Iranian delegation. We heard from the Qatari Prime Minister as well as the Pakistani Prime Minister and J.D. Vance, but not from the Iranians. There we don't see the Iranian presence. And so the Iranians are saying, according to the spokesperson of the Foreign Ministry, that no, this is for us to just come into an agreement over the first pointer of this MOU, which is a conclusive end to hostilities in Lebanon, and then we're going to get into all the other provisions out there.
What about the role of Israel then?
Of course. Well, the reason that the two sides have not moved beyond this first point is precisely because of Israel's engagement in southern Lebanon and, the deadly attacks that we've seen over the, course of the past 24 hours alone. Of course, Israel's argument is that we're retaliating against Hezbollah, and also Hezbollah seems to not be calming down at all. In fact, doubling down. I spoke with a source yesterday in Lebanon. He's an aid worker, and he said, Tara, what has happened in the past month alone is that people have even further radicalized because they've lost faith in the government of Lebanon, they've lost faith in diplomacy, and they believe that they're on their own, fending for themselves. And Leah, this is why civilians are the only really individuals and people paying the brunt of paying the price and really the toll of this war. And that seems to be the continuing story that we're hearing in Lebanon.
What can we sense from the mood in those talks? What would it be like? It will be tough, I assume, to get over the line issues that we've seen over this war, the bombing of a school, the loss of life on the US side. In other words, so much has gone on. How do they clear the pathway for genuine peace?
Indeed. And I think that's the question on everyone's mind, on people's mind. If I speak with sources and people in Iran, Lebanon, Israel, people are tired of wars and conflicts, and people want to move beyond the rhetorics that they're hearing, quite frankly, on all sides. And I was really thinking about Donald Trump's Truth Social post moments ago, and of course J.D. Vance's tone. And I think the most important reality is what we're not hearing and what we're not reading. And I think that is what precisely will determine the future of these talks, rather than these semantics and these rhetorics that are coming from both sides. I think those are there to serve a purpose, to feed a base, but the reality is what happens behind closed doors, and whether or not that would have tangible impact on the lives of ordinary people, we have to wait and see. But in the words of a source, again in Lebanon, that echoes that of many people that I've spoken with in the region, is that if bombs and strikes and conflicts were to bring peace, prosperity and security to our region, the Middle East would have been the most prosperous place in the world, and we haven't seen that.
Powerful way to end this conversation. Tara, for now, thank you. Appreciate that.